I think I began like so much of the leaders of today. So I started 30 years ago, climbing up
Okay.
the ladders, and mother of four. So
Okay.
we tried to move on, but a couple of years ago, actually, I decided at one point that I look at myself and I said, you know what, it's not working. 60
Hmm.
hours a week.
Oh,
Don't,
okay.
don't really like what I see. I'm not really leading with value. It wasn't me. So, yeah, that's what I started to change a little bit. And here I am, but it took some time. So, it was a journey with bumps, ups and downs. Um, and that's what brought me here today.
Welcome to Unlock Potential, where we dive into the journey of those who are reshaping the world of entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Kevin Raphael. Today, I'm really thrilled to have Martine Boily with us. Martine is a master strategist and a mentor who transformed the landscape of entrepreneur worldwide. Martine, thank you for taking some of your precious time to join us today. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, for those who don't know you, Martin, can you give us a brief introduction of who's Martine Boily?
I think I began like so much of the leaders of today. So I started 30 years ago, climbing up
Okay,
the ladders, and mother of four. So
okay,
we tried to move on, but a couple of years ago, actually, I decided at one point that I look at myself and I said, you know what, it's not working. 60
Hmm.
hours a week.
Oh,
Don't,
okay.
don't really like what I see. I'm not really leading with value. It wasn't me. So, yeah, that's what I started to change a little bit. And here I am, but it took some time. So, it was a journey with bumps, ups and downs. Um, and that's what brought me here today.
Okay. So, so basically, having you had your four children before
Yeah.
questioning yourself.
Really? Yeah, yeah. Had my four children beginning as a leader. And
Okay.
what I realized is that if you want to climb up the ladder, well, you have to do the hours. And so
Hmm.
made the hours and got the title and the money and liked it. And, yours. And when you realize you're in it, you're just like the roles going really fast. And my
Hmm.
kids were growing up. And one day, one was 18, and I was like, wow, did I miss everything? Then that's when I
Yeah.
realized that I had to question myself and how I was doing things. And talked with my colleagues, other leaders, and I realized that most of us pretty much the same journey. Lots of hours, lonesome wolf at the top, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure that we really liked how all this was happening. So yeah, like I said, it was a bumpy ride. But I don't regret it. Learned a lot. Fall down, get up, and you start again. And you learn a lot by failure. So I think that's
Oh yeah.
so that's pretty much my journey.
Yeah, that's true because a lot of people they think that to learn you have to succeed on the first time. No, actually, you have to fail and you have to
You know,
take a step back and analyze what went wrong and what can you do differently
yes.
so you can have a better result. That's true.
now I'm laughing about it, but I wasn't laughing at that point. But
No.
sometimes people say, you got up, uh, and I said, you know what? Being a leader, I know it's a little weird for an example, but it's like being a parent. There's so much stuff out there,
Yes.
so many
Yes.
books about it, and you think that because you read a lot of stuff, you know it all. But at the end, it's not that. You have to make your own rules. You have to try stuff because people are unique and you don't know who's going to be in your team. So it's
Hmm.
a really, I'm trying stuff and sometime it worked, sometime not. And so I really say, being a leader, sometimes it's a little bit like being a parent. You just go and you try stuff and you learn from it. And most of the time, it's not in a book. You have to meet somebody who can give you a little bit of tips here, a colleague you can talk and
Hmm.
brainstorm about something. And then you realize, okay, I get it. Yeah,
You know what? With what you said, it reminds me of school because I remember when I have a background in biochemistry. I have a bachelor in biochemistry and a master in veterinary sciences. And there's a lot of people who, with while I was doing those studies, they thought that they were the smartest people in the world. They could achieve a lot of things because of all those studies that they were getting. It helps because it's knowledge. At the end of the day, it's knowledge, but book smart and street smart are two different things.
yeah,
And sometimes you think that you like something, but when you actually start doing it, you realize, well, it's not as easy as I thought it would be. It's completely different than what I study in classes and books and stuff like that. So you're right. Parenthood is the same thing. Leadership is the same thing because you actually have, especially now in the era that we live, we can't say that you can't find information. That's not the era that we live in. We live in an era where there's information everywhere. You have to
yes,
be able to sort the information that you
yes,
get. First of all, to verify, because it's not because the information is on the web or on Google that means it's the right one. You have to double check.
yeah,
And
yes,
once it is good information, that doesn't mean that the circumstances where those information where they discover that doesn't mean that it match your circumstances. So yeah, you're right when you say that. For some reason, it brought me back to school
yes. But it
when you
is,
said that.
I have a lot of study, but at the end of the day, it's try and error and try
Hmm.
sometime and succeed. And the only thing that I would say is because I went to school and it gave me tools.
Hmm.
So I took the tools and I sometimes, shake it a little bit to make it mine and to fit what happened now. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's trial and error, and you have to remember that today's life, like you said, goes really, really fast.
Oh
And
yes.
leaders have to wear so many hats right now. They have to
Mm.
be marketers, you know, be okay with finance, inclusion, managing change. There's so many hats they have to learn, and sometimes they're great leaders, but it's not their background.
Hmm.
So, like I said, it's experience at the end of the day.
Yes, that's one thing that I realized when I started my first project. My first project was I created a company called Père La Boule, which is a company where I was going in daycare because I really wanted to fight the obesity trend that goes on right now in all around the world. It's not a North American problem anymore. It's a worldwide
Yes, yes,
issue. And I said, well, the best place to start to put that in people's mind is where they're young, to give them that habit
Yeah.
that if you move, you give yourself a better chance to have a better future. And that's basically that was my mantra: better health, better future. So
Mm-hmm.
what I did is that I was going into my wife is an educator in a daycare, and I was going in her group, and once a week I was doing fun physical activities with the kids. And I lost my train of thought. I don't know why I was going that way. I'm sorry, Martin. Um, what, what were we talking about?
You were talking about health, actually, and obesity.
Yes, obesity, and you mentioned something that reminded me of that.
Of your first
Uh,
company. But,
oh yeah, you were saying that a leader can wears a lot of hats.
oh,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. So when I started that, I realized, okay, well, I have to be able to market that on social media. I have to be able to figure out
Yeah.
to make sure all the different purchases that I do for
Yeah.
the material, the equipment, uh, it's good enough to start, but I can't go overboard because it might go against me if I spend too much. I
Mm-hmm.
have to think about now the legal issues. Now I have to think about the registration of the company. I have to think about
Mm-hmm.
this, that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's impossible to learn everything. We'll
Oh
be
yeah.
in school for 100 years. So we have, everybody has strength, but
Hmm.
you cannot know everything. And I think that what I realized over the years and my bumpy ride is that you don't have always the answer. And that's hard to say to your team, I don't know. And they're looking at you sometimes like you're a manager or a leader and you don't know. I'm like, yeah, that's not my expertise.
Yeah.
So, like I said, now I laugh about it. I don't really mind saying I don't know. But when you're on the roll and you're new at it, or maybe at the average, you're not really senior yet. You're
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm still want to climb maybe another steps and another step, and you're like questioning yourself. Can I really say I don't know? So yeah, so that's another thing. Being secure enough to say I don't know.
Well, that's one thing that I learned also a lot working in different call centers, either for um internet TV provider, as a customer service or as a technical support, or whether it's a financial institution. Um, we yes, we do have a database that helps us, but that doesn't mean that we'll we know everything. So sometimes we have to contact a different department to get that answer. And what I realized is that in the beginning it was hard for me, but at some point I decided to be honest. You said, you know what, this is a good question that you're asking. I might know the answer, but I don't want to provide you the wrong information. So what I'll
Mhm.
do is that I will contact my team. We'll wait for their response, and I'll be able to provide you the right information according to
Yeah.
your inquiry. And what I noticed as well is that as I was I start to look different interviews of leaders or people having success. What I realized is that, like you said, they have their expertise, but they also delegate. They
Yes.
delegate what they're not an expert of. They
Yeah.
delegate to people things that they they don't like doing.
Yes.
They delegate to people. Sometimes they might like something, but they're in their team. There might be someone who's better than them
Yep.
in specific topics. So,
Yep.
by the fact of delegating, they get more free time to do actually what they like.
Yep.
So
But
that's
that's a
why.
learning too. That's a learning
So,
curve to get there
yes,
and
yes,
to be able to say it doesn't undermine my leadership if I delegate.
Mhm.
Um, and that's where, like I said, it's now I'm okay with it, but I remember. So sometimes when people talk to me about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember. Hated it, hated it. But at one point, I didn't have a choice. I was like, okay, I need to be at home at night. I need to see my kids. I need to have a life. So I need to rethink my way of doing stuff. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because when I think about that, it's stressful
oh
to
yeah,
put all of that under your shoulders, and that life is stressful enough to add yourself more stress because you think that you have to know everything. That's wow. That's even that makes even your days even longer. So yeah, that's another thing. By thinking about it, the stress that comes with it, that
yes,
doesn't help as well.
yes. And I just saw, I think last week, new studies on leadership, and they say
Mhm.
that companies are looking at it and they're really like, okay, we have a problem because people are leaving leadership. They don't want to be leaders anymore. There's really like people are just like, I'm going to work, but I'm not taking all the stress and everything that goes with it. So we're going to be missing some leaders at one point if it continues. So we
Mm.
really have to do something about it. And it's something that it's not really taught,
Yeah,
we talk about employees, you know, how they have burnouts, how they don't like their job. And I don't say it's that not happening, but leaders are human too, and they have the same thing: stress plus stress
yeah,
and long hours.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
What when I can say that when I started my journey with my first project, as I said earlier, that's when I started to really take care of myself. Because I always took care of myself. I was always in the gym. I'm a former football player, so even before playing football, health, I can say it's something that, especially my mother, really educated me. That's really important. So I was always eating right. I was always taking a good care of myself. But at some point, when I started this entrepreneurial journey that I'm on, I realized that I needed to improve the way that I was taking care of myself. I needed because the first, how can I say this? From the outside, sometimes we think that people who have success, they work 7 days a week, 30 to 24 hours a day,
yeah.
365 days a week. They don't take break. That's why they have success. But I realized
Sometimes,
that that's
sometimes it is, but they have burnout at the end. But yeah, sometimes it
exactly,
is.
exactly. So that's when I started really to meditate a lot, yoga a lot, a lot of yoga. I was always stretching. Stretching was always important to me. Like I was saying, I was always in the gym, so I was stretching. It was always part of my routine. But I started to stretch also when I wasn't working out, and I realized how it changed me. Um, and also with the meditation that also helped me a lot. Uh, so the,
It's, yeah, but I do understand. And it's funny because when I have a new client or
Mhm.
yes, we look at many things and where they at, where they want to go. So I make sure that their journey, our journey together, because I learn too every time. I learn something with them. It's unique, but I always tell them first thing I want them to do is to find something to relax. I don't care what.
Mhm.
I like some, are saying, well, I'm going now for a walk. And I'm like, you have to do it. I don't care about your competency. We're going to go through them, but give me something that you're going to say, 15 minutes, not much, 15 minutes a day. You're going to make sure you're doing it. Read a book, meditation, go for a walk. And that's the first thing we start with. And I don't know. For me, it's the way I, I do things. And like you said, I had to learn from it. And, some say, I read, I go to school, I do art. I don't mind. I just like, you have to do something for you,
Mhm.
15 minutes a day. And then we'll go on with your competency and see how we can work on it. But we have first to make sure you're okay.
Yes. Yes. There's also there's a lot of things that I used to do when I was younger that I stopped doing that I really want to do again. Like in high school I was playing trumpet
Oh,
and I really loved this. I was also in the academy for my high school. I really loved that. But because of the when I switched from I changed school because the first and second grade in high school was in one school and the last three grades of high school was in another one. And when I changed school in third grade, it was a complete different teacher, different interaction. For some reason, I felt that the teacher didn't like me. It was because when you play an instrument, you have different levels. In the first school, I was always in the first level. I was having the solos, the high notes. I love that. But in the second school, I was always getting the middle part, the middle level or the lowest one. At first, I was jealous. I wasn't happy, but I realized there was another kid that was better than me in trumpet that was getting the higher level. Okay, at some point, I realized, listen, Kevin, that dude is better than you, so that's why they have level one and level two. Okay, that's good. But I realized that even other kids were getting higher, better level than I had, and I talked to the teacher what's wrong, and some reason that it didn't work. It didn't work well with the teacher, so it was really at that point that I lost interest. I finished the whole high school with music, but after high school I never touched that, and that's one of my biggest regret that I stopped playing trumpet. And I can say for the last 5 years I got that feeling back to play trumpet again, and that's one thing I'm gonna do soon. Play trumpet. I used to dance a lot. Dance a lot. I'm from college through university. I was always in nightclubs, and I was whenever I was in a nightclub, I wasn't at the bar, I wasn't sitting in a corner. Just look on the dance floor, I'm there. I got my towel and I have my bottle of water. I did. People thought that I was taking a lot ecstasy and other kinds of drugs to keep me hype. I didn't need that. I just love music and I'm on the dance floor. And after going through that, I started to learn also I took dance class for salsa, merengue, and stuff like that. I really love that. I took those dance class with my wife, and we stopped also because of life, because we start having a family. So a lot of things we had to put them aside. We had to stop them because it wasn't a priority anymore. But now I'm realizing that those things were part of my routine that helped me relax. playing music, then going to nightclub to dance. If it wasn't in nightclubs, just to dance, because I love Latin music as well. So dance and doing that with my wife and doing that with other people also, to share, because our music, I grew up because of my dad. I grew up in an environment with music, different kind of music, Asian music, Caribbean music, American music, Canadian music, Quebecois music, and also Latin music. So always surrounded by music. So anything that relates to music, I really love that. And I think I lost that when I stopped playing music, playing trumpet, and I stopped taking the dance class. So that's one thing that I'm gonna start again, because I realized that it was a way for me to relax. So.
And what you said, it's, it happens to a lot of kids, a student in school. There's sometimes you don't really get along with a teacher and things like that, and your view on things change.
Mhm.
But it's happening in companies too. And
Mhm.
uh, so it's a little different because now when you're in a company, you have to question yourself, do I stay?
Mhm.
It's not like next year I'm going to have another teacher, or maybe my teacher is going to retire. I don't know. But so, yeah, but your experience, because you're not, I know it's happening. Like I said, I went to school and I have 4 kids, so it's happening. Unfortunately, we don't fit with everybody. It's not that they're
Mhm.
not good; it's just that we don't fit with everybody.
Which
And
is okay.
companies, and
Mhm.
you have to learn how to deal with it, and
Mhm.
to make sure, like you said, that you have some point you can go and dance or whatever. You have to have something to unwind and say, you know what, I won't think about it for another 30 minutes. And then I'll be okay to, maybe have a plan or maybe start thinking of what I'm going to do. That's pretty much the point of stop thinking and have your own bubble for a couple of
Mhm.
minutes every day. So when you jump back in, it's like your head is ready for it.
Mhm.
It's like it's a new thing. You're not tired. You think about yourself. You took the time for you. And I don't know, it works. I saw it work so many times. Yeah.
Um, we are almost at the end of our episode, Martin, and I'm gonna ask you two non-related questions. First of all, I am a specialist to create content for social media platforms.
Yes.
I specialize into LinkedIn and YouTube. Do you have an example of something new that you tried on social media that actually worked for your leadership or coaching business?
Worked. Well, I do publish more.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Going online was a new thing for me. I've been coaching for a long time, but being online was new for me. So what
Mm-hmm.
I realized is that you have to publish a lot, but you have to go on other people's publishing, and you have to like or
Mm-hmm.
comment, and then you start, and it's like, oh, okay, she did it. So one time you publish and they're liking you, and then you go somewhere. But if you're just publishing, it doesn't work. You have to do a little more. You have to like or comment on other people's feed to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you get noticed. And then your contacts start to grow. But like I said, uh, I'm not a specialist in, on the online marketing. It's really new for me. But that I know it works because I went from, I don't know, I was at like 100 contacts for, I don't know, 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm at more than 3,000, and I'm like, I didn't really change anything. I
Mm-hmm.
just like start reading any, I was reading everybody, but I wasn't doing anything about it. It was like reading the newspaper. I
Okay.
was, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to interact. Say, wow, because what you're saying, I do relate, and then it just started. It was like,
Mhm.
okay, so you have to learn to make contact and relate to people in a different way because I was used to do like we're doing now, talking to people.
Mhm.
It's now you're doing it, but in another way.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so that worked, but you have to give it time and make sure to really relate to people when
That's
comment.
true. That's true. That's true. Because right now we're so focused on getting subscribers, get
Yeah,
posting as much as we can and the likes that we actually forget that it is a community
yes,
and it goes both ways. It's not a one way.
that's it.
And actually, that's one of the things that by thinking about it with you, I remember that I wanted to do that more, but for some reason, I'm a task oriented guy. When I start something, I don't let go until I'm done. And often when I have tasks that I plan to do, um, because I'm so focused on finishing one task, I've at the end of the day I realized, okay, well, I spent too much time on this. I didn't have time to do the rest.
Yeah,
So that's one thing that I'm gonna have to literally plan in my schedule to schedule me sometimes to actually interact with other people.
yeah,
Because like you said, it's important not only to produce things on social media, but actually to interact with what other people's are
yeah,
producing as well.
yeah. So I had to balance, like I said, for me, I don't publish every day like I'm used to do,
Hmm.
but I interact every day.
Nice.
So I just changed a little bit. So it takes the same time. It's just for another task. Now I make sure to interact. So one day I interact, the other day I interact a little bit less and I publish. So I just, like I said, it's a learning curve. I'm used to talk
Mm.
to. Now it's like, okay, we have to interact in another way. But it does happen, but you have to give it time.
Good, good, good. Well, you see, basically, you're a perfect example of showing that it's a work in progress.
Yes,
So it's a new for some people like us. It could be a new way. For other people, it might be easier, but it's something that you have to realize. What are your strong points and things that you're having more challenges with, and to figure out, okay, how can I fix this? So if I need to interact more, as me, what I'm saying is that I have to include that in my schedule.
that's it. That's what I
Interaction
do
time.
too. That's what I do too.
Mhm. By the way, for those who need help for social media content, don't forget to reach out to me, and I'll be able to help you with that. Now, Martin, to finish our show, I have another way out of the current discussion question for you.
Okay.
So, how important for you is spirituality? Does that fit into your life?
It does actually, but
Hmm.
like in many things, I'm really open. So I have my
Okay.
belief,
Hmm.
but I have friends who have other beliefs, and
Hmm.
I find it really fascinating. So, like I said, I don't know how many times but I like to learn. So,
Mm, okay.
um, but I don't put it in my coaching. So I don't mind if people say, you know what, I believe in Buddha, I believe in the universe, I believe whatever you believe. It's fine with me. Everybody
Hmm.
believes in something,
Hmm.
but I don't really integrate it in my way of coaching because who am I to say to somebody what they have to believe in? For me, it doesn't make sense. So, yeah, it does. I do believe, and it's a big part of my day, but I keep it for me. And
Hmm.
I don't put it on anybody else. For me, that's
Hmm.
important.
Hmm. That's so true, Martin, because me, I with my beliefs, first of all, my beliefs are coming from my grandmother on my mother's side. I grew up with her, and going to church was really
Me too.
important for her. She wasn't as strict as other people were. I didn't need to study the Bible and literally know everything, but the Sunday mess was something that was non-negotiable. And
Yeah,
also
my
I
grandmother.
was
Yeah.
and also I was in the church choir as well. I was
Hmm.
singing also with her.
Yeah.
So it all my belief came from that. And I had I can say bumpy ride regarding my belief, because at some point I started to realize that a lot of people were putting too much emphasis on that and not doing actual action. And I
Yeah.
was realized, okay, well, it's nice that you focus on the reading and you read your Bible and all of that, but you're not doing anything else, and you're still
Yeah.
complaining you don't get any result. You need to
Yeah.
do actual actions to have result.
Yeah.
And and also with my studies, I started to question all those beliefs, and I was like, you know what? I don't believe in those things anymore, and all of that. And I can say that it's been in the past 2 years, I started to have open mind regarding certain topics, and I realized that I don't have to give everything on anything. How can I say this? I don't have to put all the controls on those beliefs.
Yes.
It helps me because it relaxes me at some
Me
point.
too.
Because sometimes because I was always putting emphasis on the fact that I control everything, and at some point you control what you do, but you don't control what other people are doing, and there's definitely there are other things that you can control.
Yes.
But by applying whatever the beliefs you have, um, by having some of those beliefs, it personally I can say that it helps me relax a little bit more,
Mhm.
and I don't put everything into it, but it helps me, especially when I'm going through
A
uh,
rough time.
challenges.
Yes.
As it helps me to continue and to take a step back also, because I remember a few weeks ago I moved to a new address, and for some reason we scheduled different different appointment for the technician to install the internet at my new address, and for some reason the technician didn't show up, and I called the company saying, "Listen, this is the second appointment that no one shows up. What's going on?" Well, they say, well, the supervisor just realized that your new address is not connected to our network, so we actually have to connect outside to your new address, and then once it's connected, we'll be able to schedule a new appointment. And they say, what's the time frame for that? Well, it could take within 5 to 10 business days for us to complete the outside work. I was like, really? 5 to 10 business days, 2 weeks without internet? I work from home. I do my business
Yeah.
from home. I need internet. I have a wife and daughter that needs internet as well. So, okay, perfect. So instead of being mad and lashing on them, what I decided, I took a step back and say, what am I supposed to learn from this? There's a reason why after two appointments, I'm not getting the service that I thought that I needed. Let me take a step back. And by talking to my daughter and my wife about all of this, my wife brought up, well, maybe we should, do you think we should try another company? Well, I said in the beginning, I would have said no, or I may have said yes in the beginning because I would have been mad. But now the fact that I took a step back, so maybe that's the reason why for us to take a look to see if there's something better for us. You know what? Go do your research and
Mhm,
see what maybe we'll get a confirmation that we waiting for this provider might be worth it,
mhm.
but maybe we might find something even better, and we actually found something, and by the end of this week we'll have the installation with a new provider with a better price with this and the same service. But for me, that's me a perfect example of that. Is that instead of being mad and screaming and all of that, I took a breath. I took a step back. So,
That's that. Like I said, I do believe, and I think that our path on that side is pretty much the same. I think that growing up at one point, I started questioning a lot of things, and even my belief. I was like, maybe I don't believe. I was
mm,
raised to believe, but maybe that's not me. This maybe they just told me to do so, and I'm doing it, and I didn't really question it. So I think that then like I said, I have friends who believe in everything and, something else, and I listen to them, and it's great. And I think that helped me figure out who I was and
mm,
what do I believe as a grown up, not what my grandmother teach me, what was I was raised in. Now I'm making the choice of what I'm going to believe in for myself.
mm.
And yeah, so that's something else.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so personal because at
Yes.
the end of the day, you have to be comfortable in your belief to be able to be happy and to live the
Yes.
the 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 best the best moment of your life. It's
Hmm.
personal, and you don't have to shove it to into people's
That's it.
throat what their
Hmm.
your belief you be, what you think is the best for them. It's personal. And
Yeah.
also the fact that you're open-minded, especially in the era that we live in, that we are all around the world, so we meet people that comes from different cultures as well, which means different beliefs. So you because I remember in the beginning when I was young, if you didn't believe in the same religion and stuff like that, that made a lot of frictions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So by having an open mind and a respectful also, um, by bringing respect into that, they might have different belief, but that's okay. They feel comfortable
That's
in
it.
that. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's their choice. It has
That's it.
nothing to do with you. What they do in their
That's
house
true.
is their business.
Hmm. Yeah. That's pretty much
So
it.
yeah, yeah. Martin, last question: is there
Yes.
any project or anything coming up next for you? Any exciting project or goals that you're working towards right now?
Actually, yes. Well, I'm still online and coaching with my
Hmm.
own company. I'm always doing one-on-one. Never went into programs or things like that. It's really unique
Hmm.
one-on-one. But a
Hmm.
couple of weeks ago, I started to start another HR helping coaching business with somebody else. It's more
Okay.
here in Quebec,
Okay.
where we are helping small, really small companies who have like 20, I don't know, I say 25 um, employees or less. It can be something else, but for now, we're really focusing on that. So now, like, it's a new thing. So I have my own and I have one with somebody else. And it's a new journey. Now I'm not doing only, individuals. I'm doing a little bit of companies too. And it's fun.
Okay.
It's something else. Like I said, it's just starting a couple of weeks ago, but we're going there.
Oh, well, congratulations on that.
Thank
hope
you.
hope hope you get good results, and it gives you a path to something new, because often sometimes we think that we are not ready for something or we don't like something until we actually do it and we get a confirmation this is not for me, or you know what, that's better
Yeah,
than what
never
I
thought
thought.
about it. It just came, and we talked about it. Sometimes it's like a sign. Well, that's it. Never thought about it, and a couple of weeks ago, it came to me, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm jumping in. Yes, that's great.
Well, Martin, thank you very much again for
You're
spending
welcome.
some of your precious time to be with us. For those who want to reach out to you, how can they how can they follow you if they need coaching? How can they reach you?
If you're English speaking, then I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
For those who are only French speaking, then you have to go on LinkedIn, and I have a website, MBL Coaching. So I'm always reachable, but like I said, I'm going online every day. So message me, and I'll make sure to contact everybody who wants help, or sometimes it's not even help, just a question. It's fine.
Good, good. Well, people, you can reach Martin either on LinkedIn, like she said, or on Facebook, and depending the language, or depending which
Yeah.
platform that you're comfortable with.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning today into the Unlock Potential Show. Join us next time as we uncover more stories of innovations and success. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, press the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next episode. If you have any comments regarding what we talked today, don't be afraid to write them below. And remember, every big journey begins with a small step. Let's take that first step together here at Unlock Potential. See you on the next episode, everyone. Brought to you by Wonder Studio and produced by Kevin Raphael.